Brought to you by the Every Dollar app. Start budgeting for free today.
All right, this one is from Jenny in South Carolina. My husband and I are on baby step 2. We have an SUV that is paid off, and my husband wants to finance a second vehicle. It's kind of the opposite of baby step 2 there, but he has $12,000 to put towards the purchase. I thought he was looking in the range of $35,000 to $45,000, but he now wants one that costs $90,000. He only wants to use the truck for 8 months and then take advantage of the buyback program from the dealership and get a cheaper vehicle then. We can't afford an $800 car payment for the next 8 months, and I don't trust the buyback program. How do I make him see that the numbers just don't work to finance a vehicle right now? I have asked him to find a vehicle that we can afford with the $12,000, or he can use our SUV and I will drive an older vehicle. This argument has been going on for 6 months, and I don't know how much more our marriage can take. The stress has gotten the worse, and I'm currently between jobs, and my income is very low right now. Ooh.
Goodness.
Sounds like a lot, Jenny.
It sounds like he is coping with a marriage on the rocks. She's unemployed. They're between incomes, and he's like, I'm going to go get a giant truck to make me feel better about all of this.
I just want some kind of comfort in my life right now because everything else seems to be chaotic. Yeah,
this man is reverting to a child. He's like Benjamin Buttoning Rachel in real time with his finances.
Right in front of our eyes.
She's right.
So Jenny,
if you need some confirmation,
oh, yeah.
You have $12,000 to purchase a car.
But Jenny, I think you're asking the wrong question. She says, how do I make them see that the numbers just don't work?
It's not about the numbers.
It's not the numbers. It's the fact that you guys are obviously not on the same page. You're trying to do a program and get out of debt while he's adding on debt. Like, you're literally counteracting each other. It doesn't make sense. And so what ends up happening is exactly what is happening, sadly, is it causes a lot of stress. It causes a lot of fights because you're both not walking the same path. You're running into each other. And so that's going to cause tension. And so for you guys, I would just pan way back and say, okay, as our family, what do we want money to look like? What does this look like for us? And if you guys can't get on the same page with that value system, then yeah, I mean, I think we said it in an earlier call, but it's true. I'm like, that means you're probably not on the same page on a lot of things in life. And so working and finding that unity, and even if that's bringing in, a marriage counselor or a therapist to get you guys back on that same page. And always know with marriage, you guys, that there's always going to be opposites, okay? So there's always going to be one person that always kind of wants the bougier thing, probably, and the one that's like, we're fine here, or one's more of a spender, one's more of a saver. Like, you're always going to have these different money personalities in a marriage. So we're not saying you have to be uniformed and just identical robots together, but the overall big picture is that you want to be walking the same path. And that usually comes down to a value system conversation that obviously you guys are on separate pages. So I think that looking at that as the issue is where I would start.
Yeah, this is so tough because this marriage is only going to grow further apart if he makes this decision. And it's going to be a harder decision to undo. And it's going to cause so much resentment on Jenny's side of like, she is not going to feel like she has a vote in this marriage. If he goes and does this behind her back, in front of her back, no matter how he does it, it's going to screw things up even more. So she needs to have the come to Jesus meeting with him and go, listen, I don't feel safe. I'm trying to do this plan. This marriage is not going well. We need to get on the same page. You need to act like an adult and have some delayed gratification.
Yeah,
and that
absolutely.
means one day you can have that truck when we can pay for it in cash, when we're not in debt. But right now is not the time to go make more terrible decisions.
Yeah, because again, take the money piece out of this, you guys. Like, it's just the fact of, it's just disrespect, right? Like, if one spouse is pleading with another on something, you would listen to that, right?
What would you do if Winston went out and financed a $90,000 truck while you guys were in debt, actively trying to get out?
Well, that's the thing is, I'm like, yeah, we can talk about the money piece, about how that pulls you backwards and all of that, but it's a complete respect thing. I'm like, there's a level that you're obviously not being heard in your money, probably not in other parts of your marriage. And Jenny, like, I don't, I mean, it sounds like such a desperate situation, which is so sad and it's so difficult. And there's a lot of couples that are walking this road right now, but it's so much more than just the money decision. It's the fact that he's not hearing her, respecting her, and at least like, I'm like, it's one thing if he's like, no, Jenny, I think you're wrong, but you know what? I'll come down, at least go to $35,000.
There's zero compromise
like
here.
It's just a complete like middle finger is what it feels like. I'm like, I'm going to just go do whatever I want. And that's not a marriage. That's not a healthy marriage.
I'm not here to rag on the truck bros, Rachel, because I get a lot of flack for that. But there's something
George's
about
opinion on trucks.
There's something, I'm not going to even call them men in trucks. I'm going to say boys in trucks. Because men in trucks I have no problem with. Winston Cruz has an awesome truck. I got to ride in it. That thing is awesome.
That's right.
Boys in trucks, and by boys I mean grown men who are financing $90,000 trucks to cope, that's not okay. And I will fight against that every single day.
Fight the good fight, George.
That's what I'm doing in Winston's Tundra.
The Lord's calling on your life.
Rachel, I had to crawl into Winston's Tundra. It was so high up. I was like, is there a ladder you can throw down for me?
Stop. It's not a raised truck. It's a regular truck, George.
Truck.
Create your free every dollar budget today, the simplest way to budget for your life.